Oh, goody.
Alright, what's going on everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Hearthstone video. So we got some patch notes. This patch is going to be dropping today, so these changes will be live in the game very shortly. And I just wanted to go over them real quick, give a few initial thoughts. Normally I focus on the Merc stuff for the patch notes. This is patch 24.2.2. But if we scroll all the way down, and it is quite a ways down, they did change a lot of things in the different modes. They did not touch anything for mercenaries. This is not really a surprising thing, since they typically just don't do Mercs changes in these standard focused balance changes. They're usually done in the content updates, whether that be 0.0, 0.2, 0.4. So given that the next Hearthstone patch is almost certainly going to be 0.4 within the next month or less, I'm expecting about 3 weeks or so-ish. It's not really surprising that we don't have any Mercs patch stuff, but I did just want to get that out the way. No Merc stuff for this patch, mostly focused on the other modes. But I have been playing quite a bit of Wild, so we're gonna take a look at the card changes. Obviously these changes are designed for Standard, but they do impact both formats. So let's take a look. And I'll give my initial thoughts. So Wild Heart Guff, old Battlecry and Hero Power, granted full mana crystals, now they grant empty mana crystals. This is like the bare minimum change they could have done to Guff. It's good they're doing it. I'm annoyed he's still 5 mana. Guff is a stupid card. Most broken hero card. Should never have costed 5. It's silly that he still does. But at the very least, they need to do this. The gaining a full mana crystal was hilariously overpowered. And they're not killing the card. He's still going to see a ton of play, and he's probably still going to be the best card in Druid. But he's a little bit less ridiculous now. So that's nice. I wish they would have hit him harder so I could dance on his grave a bit more, but yeah, he's still going to be really good. Next up, Edwin. Yeah, this was a very controversial buff. I mean, I kind of liked it personally, but I understand why they're changing it. He was just probably way too good for Standard at 3 mana, so they're putting him back to 4 mana. Reasonable change. Edwin's still a good card at 4 mana, just a bit less explosive, so definitely kind of a sensible change here, especially given that Rogue didn't really look as good when they made this initial change, and then it got more refined, and so yeah, makes sense they're reverting Edwin. Let's see, so then we have Dawn Grasp's Hero Power. Before, deal 2 damage, honorable kill, gain +2 damage. Now it's deal 2 damage, honorable kill, gain +1 damage. Yeah, this definitely is super focused on Standard because it was just scaling way too fast and was too inevitable of a win condition for Mage, and now it will scale a bit slower, and that seems a lot more reasonable, so makes a lot of sense. Probably will not impact Wild very much because the card did not see much play there. Then the Night Cloak Sanctum, going from 3 durability to 2. This makes a lot of sense. This card seemed to be doing very well in Standard, and freeze effects are really annoying, and being able to get 3 freezes and get like a minion out of it each time seemed to be very strong in Standard, so not really surprised that they're tweaking this one down a bit to lesser the amount of freezes you're getting for the cost. Hunter Quest, this is neat. So Defend the Dwarven District, it's I think its first stage is going from deal 2 damage or deal damage with 2 spells to deal damage with 3 spells. I mean, this feels like it's been a long time coming for the Hunter Quest. All the other big Stormwind quests have gotten hit, and I know there are some concerns that Quest Hunter could be a bit dominant with some of the other classes getting changed. I'm not sad to see this go. Screw quest lines. They're a toxic as hell mechanic, and if I never have to see one again, it'll still be too soon. So glad to see it go, even though it's already pretty dumpster tier in Wild at least. Kael'thas. So they're putting him to 8, and the reason for that is the Bran AT Denathrius combo. Makes sense. It was showing up in like every deck, so Not really surprised they are axing this one. I mean, I kind of liked it, but it's just too easy to run this 3-card combo in Standard, so it makes sense they're hitting part of it. I thought they were going to hit Denathrius, make him not a battle cry, so they could keep this card alive, but it seems that is not the route they wanted to go. So unfortunately, Kael'thas is probably just an unplayable card now. Maybe he'll break something in the future with like cheap minions or something, who knows, but 8 is just way too much to play this card. Gonna be an instant disenchant from me. The only thing that kind of annoys me is now Druid just becomes the only class that can brand Denathrius, and that's still gonna be annoying. So I don't really like that, but it is what it is. They're gonna hit some part of this combo, and Kael'thas is what they chose. Smothering Starfish. This one kind of surprised me a bit, going from 3 mana to 4 mana. I guess it's been seeing quite a lot of play in Standard, and it felt like too free of an include at 3, so now it's going up to 4. Kind of neat for even lock and wild, because now you can run the silence, but other than that, I expect the card to kind of fall off a bit, because even at 3, it wasn't run in a whole lot of wild decks, and the ones it was run in, it wasn't really a good card in a lot of the time. So do not expect to be seeing too much of this in wild after this change. Then they bumped up some cards. So School Teacher, so they previously nerfed this one. It was a 5/4, then it went down to a 4/3, now it's back to a 4/4. This is fine. Card probably sees more play in Standard now, which is cool. It's pretty unplayable in wild though, so probably not going to see that there. And then the last card change here, Alliance Bannerman. This is another nerf revert from a long time ago, going from a 2 attack 1 health to a 2 attack 2 health. I don't think this is going to be anywhere close to helping Paladin in Standard, but maybe the other classes getting hit will help it rise up a bit. Warrior and Demon Hunter also didn't really get anything from this, but maybe they will benefit from the fact that other classes are a bit worse now. But pretty light changes overall. One thing definitely worth mentioning is that Theotar dodging the nerfs this time around. He's a pretty controversial card. I think people either love him or hate him. I personally am in the camp of I think he does more good than harm for the game, and the reason why he can be annoying is because of power outliers in other cards rather than him being a power outlier himself. But I know he is a pretty hotly debated card, and he is seeing a ton of play in both formats. So I would not be surprised if they eventually tweak him to 5 mana or something. I thought it was going to happen this patch. It didn't, but worth mentioning because I think that's the big one people were expecting to see that wasn't really on here. And they do mention, I think at the top here, that they're planning, or they're probably going to do more adjustments in the future, but they want to see where these changes land before they adjust more changes. So it makes sense. Like when you're adjusting a bunch of cards, you don't want to change like a million things at once. You kind of want to make some adjustments, see how those adjustments pan out before you make more adjustments, because you can kind of control the variables a little bit more that way. Yeah, so our top priority this patch was to make the meta feel more stable and more diverse. For that reason, we focused primarily on making a moderate number of high confidence changes. We expect there will still be room for adjustments after the patch settles. We'd like to take the opportunity to see where these changes land before making further changes. And it'll probably be a while before further changes, because typically they don't really do card changes when they do a big content update, and the next planned patch will most likely be the mini set in 24.4 and the Mercenaries drop that we're all waiting for. So I would not expect any more changes until at least 2 or 3 weeks after the mini set, so at least a good month and a half or so. Hopefully these are good enough to make Standard better, because Standard has seemed pretty terrible from what I've heard and experienced. But that being said, really enjoyed Wild, so I think, and I don't think these changes are going to really mess up Wild. I think Wild's still going to be in a pretty good place with these changes, so that is nice to see. They updated a bunch of stuff in Battlegrounds. I'm not going to cover this, but the patch notes will be in the description if you want to take a look at it. I really am not interested in Battlegrounds, especially after the paywalling stuff, so not planning on covering any of that. They updated some duel stuff. It looks like they actually did quite a few changes to duels here. I'm pretty out of tune with the duels meta, so I don't really have much in the way of opinions on these, but again, you can check them out in the patch notes if duels is something that interests you. A bunch of treasure changes, some card changes, and then we have some bug fixes, but it looks like it's just a bunch of Battlegrounds bug fixes. This is not surprising. This is about what was expected, I think, at least from me. I did not expect any Merc stuff this patch, so we will just continue waiting for the 0.4 patch, and I'm hoping that they will do a little something to kind of hype it up a little bit, since that didn't really happen as much last season, and then people were kind of upset about it, and luckily Alkali kind of stepped in and did a cool little mini reveal over on the Discord for us, and Old Guardian got to reveal some of the Nagas, so I'm hoping that they do something like that this time around, because people really seem to enjoy it. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but that's going to be it for this video. If you want to check out the patch notes for yourself, the link will be in the description. But I do want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.